Hey guys, welcome back to another chat, I guess. We were gonna do these all outside, but it's so dang bright on our back porch that
I mean, it's like you face the camera one way, and the sun is just shining in your eyes. You face the camera the other way, and we're just silhouetted because the camera is shining directly on the lens. And then also the AC units are going, and it's just like so. Today we are talking about
like those times where you're just not really feeling it in the gym and like kind of motivation, I guess, when the motivation is just not there. Because I mean, I don't care who you talk to, nobody just wants to go to the gym every single day, all the time. And sometimes you just go through like a month or just weeks at a time where you're just not feeling like any of it. Your workouts aren't going that great. You don't really see much progress. You don't want to go to the gym. And so I feel like we both handle that in such different ways that it might be, I don't know, fun to talk about.
yeah. My opinion is super simple. I feel like, and like it doesn't even require that much explaining. It's really just it doesn't matter, and motivation ultimately doesn't really matter, and discipline is the only thing that gets you through um, just the gym and gets you through like whenever you feel like you need motivation. It's really just about discipline, and you're not going to have motivation every time. You're not going to be inspired. You're not going to have motivation every time because I'm telling you, like I have times where I'm really unmotivated and I don't want to work out, and I try to watch some freaking video on YouTube to like fire me up or something, and it just doesn't work. But I still have the discipline to go to the gym and not just slack off.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Gabby from The Bachelorette. Yeah. um, and I'm kind of the opposite. Like, sometimes I just get myself to go, even if I'm not feeling it, and I just try to either have a workout planned that I know I'm gonna have a good workout, or I just tell myself, like, I'll do one full exercise, like, I'll do 3 sets of an exercise, and if I'm still just feeling like shit, I'll call it a day. Like, but I'm also somebody, I don't want to waste my time. So I feel like sometimes if I go to the gym and it's not a very good workout, I feel like I'm just wasting my time going anyways, and I kind of convince myself to leave. And that's kind of a bad habit that I have. I mean, it truly is, like, discipline is probably the most important thing that fitness teaches you, especially just, I mean, really anything fitness. I was going to say just weight training, but I think that's like one of the biggest lessons that it teaches you is to have the discipline to go or to do something even when you really don't want to. But I will say I'm more motivated to go when, oh, that almost went in this water. I'm more motivated to go when my workouts are going really well and I feel like I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And I also feel like I'll make like a workout plan and I'll follow it for like 8 weeks. And even if I change it up, sometimes I get kind of bored, and I get like, I was talking about this in the video that I posted the other day. Like, I get really excited about doing a new exercise or like a superset or something, and I like look forward to it when I go to my workouts. And then after like the third or fourth workout, I'm like, I kind of hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. And so I think, I don't know, that's such a hard thing because it's like, if you want to keep up progressive overload, like, you want to do the same exercises, but you also want to
Sure, stay relatively the same.
right, but you also do want your workouts to like have some variability, especially for somebody like me who has to have some sort of variation in everything so that I stay like interested.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I'm the one with ADHD. but I can do the same
No, it's-
shit every day. I eat the same thing every day. I eat 4 eggs with a cup of egg whites and cheese for breakfast every day. For lunch I'll have yogurt. I'll either have like the single serving cups or I'll have, plain Greek yogurt with granola and some fruit. And then, dinner's always different. But I mean, at the gym, it's like I can do the same shit every day. Like I just did a program where I'm going to be doing the exact same workout, minus probably like a few exercises, not the main ones, every single day for like 4 weeks because I want to progress in those specific areas. And it definitely will be unmotivating at times, being like, shit, I have a 5x5 of bench, I have cable flies, I have lateral raises, I have skull crushers, the same thing I've been doing, but there's also motivation that comes from knowing. It's just so weird. It's like a motivation in knowing that you're still gonna do it. It's almost like a motivation looking in the future and knowing you're gonna do that workout and knowing that most people wouldn't. Most people would just be like, I'm not working out today. That gives me the motivation to not have to worry about my motivation, if that makes sense. Like, most people would just be like, I don't want to work out today, and be like, whatever. But me knowing I'm sitting in the parking lot and knowing that I don't feel like doing it and I'm still going to do it gets me in the zone to want to do it, because I feel like it just to set yourself apart from others and to know that you have the discipline to go into the gym when you don't want to. It gets the ball rolling and it gives you this momentum and this inertia that makes it really easy to keep going. But once you start skipping every now and then, and once you start saying I'm not going to do it, then it's like, well, I skipped last week. Like, what's the point? Like, I might as well skip again. Like, it really doesn't matter that much.
It is a slippery slope because it's like, oh, like I did skip one last week, but I was good. I went a few days in a row. Like, I can skip today. It's not a big deal. And I've been so guilty of that. I will say, like, when I was at my peak of motivation, like, not even motivation, but, like, I was just more structured with it, I guess, more consistent with it. When I was at my peak, like, consistency, I was going at the same time every single day. Like, I knew that at 4 p.m. or whatever, I was driving to the gym. Like, I made sure I was out of my house by 4 to get to my workout. And I feel like that's such like if you have a time, a lot of people like to go in the mornings where they have their mornings and then they know they're at the gym by 7 or by 8 or whatever. Like, if you just kind of make that like a non-condition to yourself where you're like, unconditionally, I'm going to be there at this time. Like, I don't have anything else to do in that time. I feel like you'll go. It's like a meeting or an appointment. Like, you wouldn't just skip work.
Yeah, because you wouldn't skip work because this is something we've talked about before. You would never skip work because you have to do it. You have to go to work or else you're going to get fired.
And
then you're not going to make money, and then you're not going to pay your bills, and then you're going to be fucked and you're going to be homeless. So, but people have this fucking thing in their head where they think of the gym as a want. And, I don't want to take it that serious because not everybody needs to take, like, fitness that serious. But if you are someone who wants to take it seriously, take your health very seriously, take, like, your physique seriously, your training seriously, then you need to right now think, do I think of the gym and fitness and health as something I want and something that would be good if I, whatever? Or do you think of it as I need it? I need this to happen. I need to do this for myself, for my health, for my well-being. You need to think that you need it.
And I also think it's like, it's not just you when you go to work. Like, other people are depending on you, but at the gym, you're really only depending on yourself. Like, nobody's waiting on you to come do your work. Nobody's waiting on you
and
to
no
come...
one's going to know if you don't go.
Right.
Except for maybe if you live with someone else. Like, like, I might know if you don't go, but it's like, who cares? I'm not going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
But you don't care. You don't care.
Yeah, but if it's just you, like, you have to, like, find the self-governance to get yourself to go.
Yeah, and you have to almost be like bipolar or like have multiple personality disorder. Like you need to have that one part of you that's like, shut the fuck up. Go to the gym. Quit being a bitch.
I don't think that kind of self-talk is
I like
helpful.
that self-talk.
I don't.
Because I don't want to go and I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Are you fucking serious? Do you know how many people have just worked so much harder than you? So much harder than you. They're poorer than you. They didn't eat as much as you. They don't make as much money as you. They don't have as nice of a life as you. And you can't go to the gym. Like, you can't even just go to the gym. It's literally a privilege. It's literally a privilege. It's not a chore. It's something you want to do 99% of the time. And you can't even do it. And then I'm like, damn. You're right, other me. And then I go to the gym.
Yeah, you're definitely more the, like, shit on yourself to get yourself to go. I think that's just a male thing.
Yeah,
I think
like
that's just
most
like
men
a
are
guy
like that.
thing. But with girls, it's like if you shit on yourself enough, like, you lose the motivation more. It's like the opposite effect, I think.
But don't you want to get better?
Yeah, but me shitting on myself is going to be like, oh, like, what's the point of me even going? Like, I have to be
so
like...
you can get better and you can't shit on yourself anymore.
No, that
Like,
is so toxic.
Like, I want to get to the point in my life where I can't shit on myself.
That is so...
Where I can't say
What?
anything bad about myself.
When will that ever come?
It'll never come, but that's the point. Is that's what I'm striving for.
But I feel
you're
that's
always
so
striving for
toxic.
perfection. If you're not striving for perfection, then what are you striving for?
So then what do you do? Would you just tell yourself in the mirror, like, oh, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, hoping that, like, your face shape will change? Like, no.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about right now.
I just
that has
feel like that
nothing to
is...
do with anything I've said.
Yeah, I just feel like it's so toxic to, like, shit on yourself and act like who you are now is not, like, okay.
Not good enough?
Yeah.
It isn't.
It should be, and you shouldn't
Why
treat
should it
yourself
be?
that, like, your self-worth
If I was good
comes
enough, why would I
from-
go to the gym?
Anyways, you shouldn't treat yourself that, like, your self-worth comes from going to the gym or not.
No, it doesn't. But if I was already good enough, because we're not talking about my self-worth, we're talking about, like, my physique or, like, my ability to stay disciplined and not skip or whatever. If I was good enough, then why am I doing it? Like, why am I doing anything?
There's a difference between being good enough and being your best. And you should be striving to be your best, not just good enough.
Good enough for what, though? Like, I am good enough for what?
Where you should be happy with how you look, and you should be happy with your capabilities, but you should also be striving to see how, like, what your best would be.
Yeah.
And that's something that you're constantly working towards. But I don't believe this whole literally, like, verbally abusing yourself.
Don't verbally abuse yourself, but I mean, like, you have to be honest with yourself and be like, am I being a pussy right now? Or do I have a real objection to this and I actually shouldn't do it?
Men are so interesting. That is just not the way I
You
think.
just have to be honest with yourself. You can't, like, all I'm saying is just be honest with yourself.
I feel like I'm being more honest with myself than you are.
No, you're not.
So
because what happens when you didn't go to the gym? Like, what happens when you don't go to the gym? Because you say you're stressed, or you say your day at work was hard and you just don't feel like it. What is that? What's up with that? Are you being honest with yourself? Because no, you're not. You're tougher than that. I know you. You're stronger than that. And I know 100% you can be like, nah, I'm not doing that. And you can go to the gym and you can be like, I conquered that shit.
See, I feel like at that point, I mean, I'm going to give myself grace because at the point that I'm at in life right now, and especially in the last, like, 6 months, I have just been not having a good time. And you know that. And a lot has been extremely frustrating in my life. So if I had days where going to the gym was going to cause more stress in my life, then I'm okay with having not gone for the last 6 months, like sporadically.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at a point now where I might be coming out of that spot where I now have room for something else. Fitness can have more of a priority in my life, but over the last 6 months, that was not my priority.
Yeah, if the gym, if you know you can look into your soul and look at yourself, and you know for a fact that going to the gym would be worse for you than not going to the gym and staying home and doing whatever, then don't go. Don't go, because that's not good. You should never do something. Like, why would you do something that's bad for you? You should never do that. But if you look deep into your soul and stare at your inner bitch or your inner truth teller who's just a good person, and that guy inside of you is like, no, if I went to the gym today, I would actually be in shambles, then don't go. Because I don't want you to hurt yourself.
I don't know.
I'm just proposing being honest to yourself. I'm a little more frank and blunt, and you don't. You like to be more sensitive, and that's perfectly fine. And I'm sure there are tons of people that represent both of us. But it's like, you should always be honest with yourself.
No, but I feel like you are more objective in the way that you talk about things, and you're like, if I don't go to this workout, obviously, like, I'm not going to get any kind of improvement in my body. And you don't really, like, care about how you feel that day, whether you've had, like, a hard day at work, or you're just tired, or you didn't sleep well, or you didn't eat enough, whatever. For me, I'm like, I know, like, I'm already overwhelmed, I'm already stressed, it's like 5 p.m., I still have work to do. If I go to the gym, I'm going to feel more overwhelmed when I come home, and then we have to make dinner, and then I'm going to be wanting to go to bed, but then I'm going to have to still have work to do, and, like, I think about how I feel. I don't really think about how my body's going to look in 6 months if I don't keep quitting on going to the gym.
I feel like my way is just better.
Yeah, 100%. I'll agree with that. Yeah.
For
Because
the
it's like
long
my
run.
feelings go away. Like, the next day I'm not feeling overwhelmed by that one thing.
Yeah.
And then
So,
it's
like,
I
I
have
think
nothing
people
to
should
show.
just view it as, like, an equation. Like, I suck at math. I had to go to summer school for algebra 2. But it's just an equation. It's like working out plus effort plus, or times the amount of days you went to the gym, or times the amount of time you spent in the gym equals results. And if you're dilly-dallying and you put in maximum effort 3 days a week, but you don't give a fuck or do anything 2 days of the week, and then the other 2 days of the week, one of them is a rest day, and then the other one is like you go and half-ass it. It's like you have 3 days a week to show. You have less than half of the time in a year that you spent actually putting in the work to achieve your goals. And it's like, at the end of the year, are you going to be like, I'm so glad I skipped the gym that day because I was at work so long and I was tired? Or are you going to be like, I wish I'd put in a little more work this year?
Yeah. And I feel like we talked about this a bit the last time we talked, but missing one workout every now and then is really not the end of the world. Like, other things are more important sometimes, but you do have to, at least for me, I feel like this is good advice for me. I hope I take my own advice. But you have to think, like, if you're somebody like me who, like, works on feelings, like, am I going to be happy that I skipped this one workout because I was feeling overwhelmed from work? Or am I going to be happy that I went to my workouts even though I was feeling overwhelmed? Because, to be honest with you, I rarely have much to show for when I skip my workouts. Like, most of the time, if you're like, hey, I want to are you going to go to the gym with me? And I'm like, oh no, I'm so tired. I have to get all this work done. I really usually don't get that much work done in that hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that phrase. I mean, you're talking about, like, I don't know why I thought of this, but I mean, it just reminds me of, like, the phrase adversity builds character. It's like, you may feel so overwhelmed, and you may just feel like the world is crashing down on top of your poor little head, and I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. I just can't do it. And you're sitting there, and you're like, oh. But adversity builds character. Like, your adversity builds character. It's like, it's going to work makes money. And you have to freaking make money because you got to pay the bills. Adversity builds character. You have to face adversity and you have to overcome adversity because that's how you build character. And are you going to be a characterless coward in a shell of just, you know, an NPC, and you just walk around and be like, oh, did you watch Game of Thrones last night? Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, and you're just like everybody else? Or are you going to nut the fuck up and, like, do something hard? Face the adversity, overcome the adversity, build some character.
One thing, too, is if you are able to have discipline in the gym, you will have a better chance of having discipline in every other thing in your life. And if you're somebody who you don't want to have a boss, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel or a podcast, or you want to start a company, you want to start a brand, you want to build a product, you want to do something, like, it requires so much discipline to keep up a schedule. And, like, so many times I've tried to keep a schedule up on Instagram or whatever, and I've literally just given up because I'm like, oh, it's so hard, I don't have time, I don't have this. And while, yeah, it's not my full-time job, I don't have hours and hours to spend each day taking pictures and filming and editing, but, like, you have to have the discipline with that too, that even when you don't feel like it, and even when you don't really like to do it anymore, because that day will come where it's just not fun and you don't feel like it that day, you have to have the discipline with that too. And if you learn to have that discipline with yourself, with the gym, it'll be easier for you to have the discipline for everything else in your life.
I don't know why my nose gets so stuffed up. Yeah, I mean, my dad always used to tell me, and he still says it, it's nothing but a hill to a mountain climber. And it's just like...
He wrote that in my graduation card.
Yeah. It's just like... It's for, like, you know, something can only be as hard. Like, it can't be as hard as the hardest thing you've ever done. Like, if you've done something just infinitesimally difficult, everything else is just going to be a piece of cake. And sometimes, I'm sure for most people, going to the gym and being fit and being in shape and being healthy is the hardest thing you'll probably ever do in your life. It's harder than going to work or, like, walking your dog.
It's also hard,
whatever.
Like, there's no end to it. Truly.
No.
It's a lifelong, like, battle that you have with yourself to continue to go. And if you're somebody who you're like, oh, I try to go to the gym, or oh, I have my Planet Fitness membership and I'm going to go next month. Like, I'm sorry to be so, like, blunt, but you don't have discipline. And, like, maybe that is something you should work on. Yeah. Like, that's probably step one. Sorry. But
that's going to be the hardest thing that you'll ever do in your life. And if you can do that consistently, and it sounds easy when you just say it. If I could just go to the gym and just kind of eat healthy most of the time and, like, take my vitamins and whatever, if you can do that consistently, everything else in life is just going to be so easy. It's just going to be so easy because it's going to be like, you're going to go into work and you're going to want that promotion or you're going to want whatever. And it's just going to be like, how easy is this? None of these other people are going to the gym after we get off work late at 6 p.m. And they're not, you know, doing whatever, counting their calories, doing whatever. Like, none of these other people are doing that. and you know that you have the ability, like that's your hill and you're the mountain climber. Like that you have the ability. Like I'm a mountain climber. I climb mountains. Like this is just a hill. This is too easy.
Yeah, like each day is just that little hill. But there's two other topics to this like overarching theme, I guess, that I wanted to talk about, just beyond like the motivation to get to the gym, because there are so many times, and we kind of already talked about this, but there are so many times that you want, like, you know, you want to go to the gym, but you're just not seeing any improvement. You go to the gym and your workouts just suck, and you're like, you either don't want to do it, the weights feel heavier, everything just feels harder, or you leave your workout and you're like, I really just don't feel like I did anything that great. I feel like that is a time that I lose motivation, or discipline, I guess, the most, because I feel like I'm trying and I'm not really making any improvements. But I will say, like, I feel like, and Jared has kind of been talking about this lately, is sometimes you're just not pushing yourself hard enough. And like back when you first started at the gym, you were obviously pushing yourself harder than you've pushed yourself before, because everything is new and your body's trying to move in these different ways. You're challenging your mind muscle connection. But once you kind of, but once you get to that point, like, you at some point need to add in extra things to your workout that make it harder, so that you still feel that sense of like accomplishment, I guess. You know what I mean?
So you still see the results coming in, because I mean, it's like progressive overload isn't just literally progressively overloading your weights. Progressive overload also applies to like the frequency in which you go to the gym, and or the weights you use, or the volume you use. I mean, I recently just looked at, you know, my workouts and what I was doing, and it was like,
My battery's about to die.
it was like I was doing just, I wasn't doing enough, and I wasn't seeing progress. And I was like, why am I not seeing progress? It's because I've been doing the same shit for like 3 years. And I had to look at it again. And be like, let's turn this up a notch. So every single muscle group would be like, I'm adding on 4 or 5 sets per week. And I've been doing it for like a week now, and I'm sore as shit. I'm sore as shit. Because I'm actually challenging my body like I was like 2 years ago or something, that I just got used to. We had to take a quick break because the battery died, but
Yeah, so we just made dinner and it's in the oven now, so now we're gonna finish, I guess.
yeah. But you need to reevaluate every once in a while what you're doing, because you may be getting unmotivated and you may not be feeling it in the gym because you're not making any progress, but it's because you're not trying hard enough. You're either not trying hard enough because you're literally just in the gym physically not trying hard enough, or you're not trying hard enough as in like you're not making a workout or planning a workout that's actually hard enough to challenge yourself, or you're not eating good enough.
That's a big one too. I finally remembered what my third thing was. Another part of like the motivation in the gym is, you know, I feel like a lot of people just kind of work out to look better, but your idea of what looking better is changes so much. Like my idea of what I would look better with, like changing my body wise, has changed so many times. So if you're somebody who, like, your only motivation is to look better, you're going to lack the motivation most days, unfortunately, because you're going to look at yourself and you're going to be like, oh, like, I look fine. Or you'll lose a few pounds in a couple weeks and you'll be like, oh, I look fine. Or you won't lose a few pounds immediately and you're going to lose that motivation before you even really get started. And I think it's so important to create goals for yourself that are beyond just the way you look, or something that's like literally so far in the future that it's easy to put off for now. So like if you have something like, I don't know what like a male goal would be, but like for women, like trying to do a push-up, or not a push-up, a pull-up, or even a push-up, or run 2 miles, or like setting some sort of goal for yourself that you can build up to will get you so much more motivated to do the day-to-day, because you can get to those goals faster if they're not just, I want to be able to run around with my kids.
Yeah, and
Dallas, stop.
Yeah, and if your goal is to just look better, which is my goal. Like, that's pretty much my only goal. I mean, I want to be athletic, but my main goal is just to look better. But like by doing that and like facilitating that goal, and like saying I want to be stronger, and that's something that I can like objectively be like, hey, a month ago, what was I doing? I was benching 260 for 5.
It's just going to be loud on the recording. Sorry.
I was benching 260 for 5 reps. Okay. What am I doing now? Am I doing 265 for 5 reps? Am I doing, what am I doing now? You can actually measure that. Make it something you can measure, because if your thing is like, I just want to look good, then it might work for you. I don't know, some people might be able to work like that. But I mean, it's not something you can measure. Yeah. Unless you're literally measuring your arms and your legs. But then it's like, okay, you want bigger arms and bigger legs. It's not to look good, so, I mean.
And also just make sure it's goals that you care about. Because for me, I could not care less how much weight I can squat or how much weight I can deadlift. Like, I don't care about that as much as I care about, like, truthfully how I look. But it's like I have always been kind of down on myself for not being able to do a pull-up, and I feel like it's a very functional movement that every human being should be able to do. So like that is a goal that means something to me that I can work towards. So you just have to find something that you genuinely care about, and that you care about so much that even on the days where you're like, oh, I don't really feel like going to my workout today, but in a month I still want to be able to do a pull-up. And make sure your time frame is not in like a year, because I could not tell you how many times I've told Jared, like, this year I'm gonna do a pull-up, and then I get to like June and I'm like, oh, I still have 6 months. I still have 6 months to be able to do a pull-up, and then I don't prioritize it. I might do some dead hangs and stuff, but I'm not like,
you need to set small goals.
In 60 days, I'm going to be able to at least do half a pull-up. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Or be like, yeah. Or like, hey, maybe right now you can only do the pull-ups where like you kind of are like on the ground and you like do the row almost like on the bar, like the assisted pull-ups almost. I don't know what you would call that. It's almost just like an inverted row.
Dallas.
But like
Dallas. No.
Hey,
no.
Make the goal, if you can only do 10, make the goal I want to be able to do 20 in a month. And then you might surprise yourself. You get to do 20 of those rows, and then you can do a pull-up. But be like, it might be like, I will do a pull-up by the end of the year. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to improve this. I'm going to be able to do 20 of these, or I want to be able to do 20 of these. Work really hard at that, and then you get 20 of those. And then, okay, I want to be able to hang on the bar for a minute without stopping. And then you do that, and then it's like, you're almost there. You can almost do a pull-up. You can get really close. But you have to have little milestones that you can accomplish in a somewhat short period of time that you can feel motivated about and make you feel good that you're making progress, and also gets you closer to your bigger goal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
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 Is this good?
I think so.
I think so.
I thought about one more thing, but then it just escaped my mind. Also, I remembered it. you also have to make sure you're doing it for you, because like the gym is truly just about you. Like it's like not about anybody else, and you just have to make sure that it's like, if you are somebody who records every workout and you find yourself dreading Dallas, and you find yourself like dreading going to the gym because you don't want to set your camera up and you don't want to look weird and you don't want to put makeup on to go to the gym and look good, or your outfit sucks, whatever it is, like don't let yourself get caught up in doing things for other people. Like if you're with somebody, like sometimes with Jared, he'll go to the gym, but there was a while where I kind of felt like I was going to the gym because like he got me into the gym, and I kind of just didn't want to do it because of that. Like you have to genuinely want it for yourself, and you have to be the reason why you go. It can't be because your boyfriend got you into it. It can't be because you want so and so to think you're hot, or you want someone to like your Instagram post about your workout.
Because what happens if that doesn't work out?
Right.
And it's like, that's so true. And it's like, if it's like, I feel like I'm going to the gym for this reason or whatever, it's hard to just be like, well, I'm going to change my reason. But take it back. Like if you feel like you're going to the gym because your boyfriend got you into it, or you feel like you're going to the gym because like you're stuck in the cycle of like wanting to get more likes or wanting people to like you, like I don't know, just take that shit back. Like you need to have like a vengeance about you, that like you want to go to the gym and you want to work so hard and like make it your thing. Mm-hmm. Make people think like, oh, that's so and so, they're like really in shape and they would go to the gym a lot. It's like you have to want that shit.
Yeah. And while like of course having like a gym buddy to go with and somebody to like hold you accountable, your deep down reason has to be you. Like it truly cannot be anything else. Otherwise you're going to use it as a reason and an excuse at some point to not do it because of that.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have.
I think that's all I have too. I think I could probably talk forever, but we said the most important parts.
I think we talked a lot about it, but I mean, yeah, I mean, motivation is a really, really tricky thing because each person has their own things that get them caught up, or, I mean, and life just happens, but yeah.
Be real with yourself. Determine whether or not you're just being soft. Or Dallas? No.
Is he still chewing on it?
Yeah. Determine whether or not you're just being soft or if you're being real and you actually can't make it.
Dallas yesterday, Jared's aunt came into town and she has a dog too, and they were playing and they were running around so much outside that he like clipped his nail somehow, and so it's just been bleeding since yesterday, just off and on. Like he'll like catch it again, or he'll pull on the leash or jump around and it gets bleeding again, and so we had to wrap it up, but he keeps trying to chew the bandage off.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Are you just gonna echo what I say?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.